Welcome to another video of me. It's the end of the year and a bad year for everyone with COVID news and a lot of other stuff. But let's not talk about the bad stuff. So the year of 2021 has been a great year for Fast Forward Media. We created an episode where I ghost hunt at Labrador Park, and we also created a show called Supernatural Stories. So for this year, we created 74 YouTube videos for you guys, 42 of which are supernatural stories and 10 of them are most haunted. For the videos of supernatural stories, we do indeed enjoy reading your ghost stories from email or from the comment section that you send us. And we are also thankful for your supportive comment and ghost stories. Another thing that we would like to say about this year is our channel saw an exponential growth of subscribers from the start of the year, which is 666 to now at 3,475 subscribers. And we are always very thankful for your support from your friends and families that you share with. So, thanks again for watching Fast Forward Media. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for supporting Jay's channel in 2021. So to get into numbers, what we achieved is that for this year, we reached 104,000 views and 816,000 impressions. That's a lot of impressions, meaning when you search on YouTube, my videos has popped up 800,000 times. That is a lot. And now, with a good Fox Albert fashion, let's look back at a top performing most haunted, and after that, the top 5 performing supernatural stories for you guys to enjoy, and it is gonna be amazing. So for the first most watched, most haunted is the top 5 real Pontianak caught on camera with 15,000 views. Let's watch. Hi guys, welcome to Most Haunted, and today we are gonna talk about the top 5 real Pontianak caught on camera. Let's have a look. Number 5. Something behind the tree. In this video, a bunch of ghost hunters is ghost hunting an abandoned house in the middle of the forest, when suddenly they saw something behind a tree. Have a look.
So, kita sebenarnya ni rumah pet dan inilah satu-satunya rumah. Astaghfirullahaladzim. Inilah satu-satunya rumah. Astaghfirullahaladzim.
If you can see behind the tree on the left, what it seems to be a white figure standing there. What would you do if you're in that situation? Would you run or stay? Number 4. Unwanted passerby. A lady and a small girl is dancing to a song on camera when suddenly there is something passing through the door. Have a look. As you can see, when they're going to the door, what seems to be a Pontianak passing by in the hallway. Tell me, what do you think about this? And comment it in the section below. Number 3. Uninvited audience. A little boy is dancing to a song in a car park garage when suddenly there is something above him. Have a look. As you can see, there is a lady in white above him. What do you guys think that is? Number 2. Outside the window. This video surfaced a long time ago. In this video, a Malaysian policeman is recording video in the station. Going around the police station filming his colleagues when suddenly he started filming his friends playing chess. Keep a lookout at the window behind the officers playing chess.
Dah 12.20. Biasa dah. Tu dia. Encik Nasir bin Syaban. Duk main chess dengan Encik Ibrahim. Abang Lempeng.
Awet tadi 2 lagi.
Tu dia. Peliak hang. Gambar-gambar.
Tu dia.
Muhur kan.
Tu dia.
Kata kawannya.
Oh, Cik Mat.
Biasa.
Kawan beribu tak apa.
Kita buat Cik Mat.
Tu dia. Cik Mat ke Cik Mat ke? Tu dia. Awak tak ambil?
Pulun baca bola pulun.
Tu dia. Lilin, siap pasang lilin apa?
Makan ni mati.
Astagfirullah. Ya Allah. Selesai. Keluar. Ya Allah.
Benar.
Tak tahu.
Benar.
Pergi tengok. Ya Allah. Keluar.
Kok.
Ya Allah. Keluar. Ha? Ada tadi. Ya Allah. Benda putih.
Benar.
Mana aku tak tahu. Apa dia? Ya Allah. Azan. Azan. Ya Allah.
Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Kuat sikit. Ya Allah. Astagfirullahalazim. Allah. Tak ada. Allah.
As you can see, when the officers is playing chess, a white figure passed by the window and the officers panic.
Astagfirullah. Ya Allah. Selesai. Keluar.
At the end of the video, you can see a Pontianak standing outside the window. Tell me, what do you think about this? Is it real or fake? You decide. Number 1. The White Lady on the Road. This video is filmed by a passerby on the road. It shows a Pontianak standing at the highway, floating up and down. Have a look.
Orang yang duduk situ kemampuan dengan langgar.
Tell me, what do you think about this? What would you do if you're in this situation? Would you go away to another lane? Would you panic? Or would you stop and check it out? So, what do you think? Is it real or fake? You decide. That is really scary. Pontianak is a thing that I have a phobia of. I'm really scared of that. Somewhat scared, okay? I'm still the ghost hunter guy. So for the second most watched, most haunted is the 5 scariest Pontianak sightings in Singapore and Malaysia, with 15,000 views also. Let's have a look. Welcome to Most Haunted, and today we are gonna talk about the top 5 most scariest Pontianak sightings. Number 5. Night walk in the jungle. So, 2 friends was going back home late at night. On their journey back, they have to pass by a dense forest. This is rural Asia, so they bring a torchlight because there is no street lamps. When suddenly, they hear a noise coming from the woods. So, the two friends continue walking after getting shocked seeing a Pontiana in the forest. So, they look in the forest one more time to check if the ghost is still there. Number 4. Selfie Ghost. A little girl was playing around with her phone in video mode with the front camera. What she captured is something not supposed to be there. What she captured is a lady in white with long black hair. Number 3. Extra passenger. So, a CCTV footage captured a man waiting for his taxi. When the taxi arrived, the man went into the taxi but not realizing he brought an unwanted guest. If you see the video clearly, the man was alone, but suddenly there was a lady with long black hair behind him. Number 2. The lady on the railway. A bunch of kids was on their way back home, walking on the railway, when suddenly they saw a lady in white walking in front of them. So they followed the lady, not thinking much. But it did not end well when they realized it was not a lady. Number 1. Haunted warehouse. So, a security guard was in this warehouse to check when he suddenly saw a lady walking behind the lockers. So, he went to check. He realized the lady mysteriously disappeared, so he continued searching for the lady.
No.
It did not end well for him.
Wah, yang lucu nih. Dok. Pi. Halo.
As you can see, the lady mysteriously appeared in another location. Sometimes they say at Fast Forward Media, we are the home of the Pontiana and the Pochong. Is that right or not? I think so. So, for number 3, we will have the 5 most scariest ghosts in Singapore with 8,000 views. Let's have a look. Welcome guys to Most Haunted. Today we are gonna talk about the top 5 most scariest ghosts in Singapore. Number 5. Toyol. A Toyol is a childlike supernatural being, usually owned by a person. Usually the person has to have a contract with the Toyol, so it can control them. The person usually gets Toyols from the shaman or making use of an aborted baby through special embalmment technique and black magic. So, the Toyol usually commit crimes, most often stealing. And the video you're about to watch is a sighting of a toyol.
Astagfirullah, itu tuyul tuyul itu. Tuyul itu, astagfirullahaladzim, tuyul. Itu belum itu dari gigiran sia. Tergigiran si perkusian kenapa? Di belum onita tuyul. Di gigiran sia tu tuyul. Gigiran sia tuyul ta. Di nyamper sia ta.
Do you guys see that? That creature that jumped from the right side of the screen towards the left. Number 4. Hantu Raya. The Hantu Raya is a type of spirit that acts as a double for black magic practitioners, roughly meaning great ghosts. It is supposed to bestow great power onto its master, because the Hantu Raya always takes on its owner appearance. Its true form is a big black shadow figure or a big creature. The Hantu Raya can even harm his enemies and can possess them and cause death. The video you're about to watch is a sighting of a Hantu Raya.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. بيطلع. بسم الله. شو اطلع من هنا بسرعة.
Number 3. Pochong. The Pochong, also known as shroud ghost, is an Indonesian and Malaysian ghost that is said to be the soul of a dead person trapped in its shroud. Known in Indonesia and Malaysia as kain kafan. The encounters with the Pochong are usually in forested or dark areas. The Pochong like to creep on people when they are alone. The video you're about to watch is a sighting of a Pochong. As you can see behind the tree peeking on him, that is an apparition of a Pochong. Number 2. Pontianak. The Pontianak is a female vampire. The Pontianak are said to be spirits of women who died during childbirth. Pontianak are usually depicted as pale-skinned women with long black hair, red eyes, and white dresses smeared in blood. A Pontianak usually announces her presence through high-pitched laughter or baby cries. Her presence can sometimes be detected by a nice floral fragrance, as of that of the frangipani, followed by an awful stench. Usually sightings of the Pontianak is at abandoned house, and the video you're about to watch is a sighting of a Pontianak.
Wah, lucu nih. Dok. Dek. Halo.
Number 1. Penanggal. The Penanggal is a ghost from Southeast Asia. Most sightings are in Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. Its name comes from the word tanggal, meaning to remove or take off, because its form is that of a floating disembodied woman's head with its trailing organs still attached. From afar, it twinkles like a ball of flame, giving the Penanggal a glowing effect. The Penanggal cannot be readily classified as a classical undead being. Rather, it is a mortal woman who practiced black magic that developed the ability to take such a form. The creature is, for all intents and purposes, a living human during the daytime, and when it's in the nighttime, the penanggal will detach from its body. Usually the victims of the penanggal are pregnant women and young children. As traditional Malay dwellings were slit houses, the penanggal hides under the slits of the house and uses its long tongue to lap up blood of the new mother. The video you're about to see is a sighting of a penanggal.
เห็นดิอ๋อเนี่ยคือดูไงมันก็ใช่เฮียใช่ป่ะล่ะแล้วบอกว่าเป็นลูกโป่งไอ้เฮียเป็นกูยืนอยู่แล้วกูวิ่งแล้วไอ้สัตว์กูคงไม่มายืนแล้วไปนั่งดูอย่างนั้นหรอกโดยไอ้ลูกโป่งที่อะไรอะลอยบินลงมาหลบต้นไม้ได้นะลูกโป่งหาเลยอะดูเลยลงมาหลบต้นไม้เลยอะ
So that's really scary, man. That is really, really scary. Ghosts are scary things in Singapore and Malaysia and all these things. Paranormal is a thing that we are very interested in. So let's go for the number 4. Fourth most watched, most haunted is 5 scariest ghosts caught on camera in Singapore. With 6,000 views. Let's go. Welcome to Most Haunted. Today we're gonna talk about the top 5 ghosts caught on camera in Singapore and Malaysia. Number 5, Pontianak at the park. So, this person is at Sembawang Park when suddenly he sees something moving in the tree. He takes out his phone to capture a video and this is what he captured.
Tu nampak ada pusing ada ruang-ruang nampak. Dia dah sengaja ni.
As you can see in the video, there's a white figure going behind the tree. What do you think it is? Number 4. Girl on the divider. A person is driving back home on Bukit Timah Road when suddenly he saw something standing on the divider of the road. Have a look. As you can see, there's a girl standing on the divider. Is that a ghost or is that a human? We will never know. Number 3. Army Ghost. Person was doing his guard duty in the army. He was taking care of the entrance of a roadway when suddenly his friend recorded and hear a girl crying in the background. So the 2 soldiers comes their guard room back to tell them that they hear something. When suddenly the camera pans to the right and you will see what I mean.
Let's take a look. Damn, it's a full moon, man.
Making out like that here.
That's why it's so romantic down here. Hey, what the fuck is that? Hey, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
Hey, quiet, hey! Hey, come closer.
Closer.
Garum.
Hey, what's that sound, man?
Hey, Garum.
Better report it. Where the fuck is the guy, man? Where the fuck is...
Garum to, someone to Garum.
Hey, he's still good.
Do you guys see that? There's a Pontianak standing beside the gantry with long black hair. As you can see, the soldier is spooked. What would you do if you're in this situation? Number 2. Raffles Ghost. This video surfaced a long time ago in Singapore. It was posted in the early days of YouTube. As you can see, there is these 2 office men walking in their office in Raffles. So, the 2 men entered the lift as per usual, talking to each other happily. When they reach their floor to exit the lift, you will see something behind them. As you can see, there seems to be an old lady walking behind the guy. How is she over there? I will never know. Is this video real or fake? we will never know. Tell us, what do you think about it? Number 1. Girl in the middle of the street. In this video, you can see 2 guys driving back home in a dark road. This video is in Malaysia, and when they're driving in this dark road, they turn into a corner and they see something on the street. Have a look.
My mistakes are one. Huh? My mistakes are one. I think I see lights. Oh no, that's just street lights.
Okay, that's a bit scary.
That is very scary.
As you can see, there's a lady sitting down in the middle of the street. What is that? And that's up to you to believe. Tell me what you will do if you're in this situation. I really like that voice. Welcome to Most Haunted. It's a very low voice I created for Most Haunted. So, let's go to the 5th most watched Most Haunted, which is 5 real Pochong caught on camera. With 5,000 views? Going to 6, okay? 5,006. Let's go and have a look. Welcome to Most Haunted. This video is made as requested by our viewers. So, please comment what you want next and follow us. Are you afraid of the dark? Well, sometimes I am. Well, for today, we will be showing the top 5 real Pochong caught on camera. Let's go. Number 5. Peeking in the dark. A person is recording a group of friends in the house when suddenly the lights turn off. Confused, they begin to look around when suddenly something behind a wall started to peek at them. Have a look. Focus on the right side of the screen behind the wall. You will see something peeking them. What is that figure looking at them? And what will you do if you're in their situation? Number 4. After death. A person is recording a prayer gathering when suddenly there is something in the background. Have a look. Is that a corpse of a dead person, or is that something else? What will you do if you see that? Number 3. Appeared. A ghost hunter is in the forest trying to capture supernatural entities on camera. When looking around with his torchlight, he did not find anything. But when the time reached 3 a.m., he saw something scary. Have a look. What is that figure in the back behind the trees? What would you do if you're in his shoes? As you can see, the figure scared him, causing him to drop his light and fall. Number 2. I see you. This video is an old video. It shows a person in the forest recording a video when suddenly a figure appeared behind the tree. Have a look.
Subhanallah. Allah Akbar, 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 hilang, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar.
What is that figure doing behind the tree? Is it watching them walking around the forest, or is it up to something else? So, what do you think of this video? Tell us below. Number 1. Caught you. This video is going to be a graphic video, so viewer discretion is advised. So, a person in this forest is trying to capture a Pochong for the camera, when suddenly, while trying to conjure it, the Pochong appeared. Have a look.
Pakai flash aja, Ki. Pakai flash aja, Ki. Kelihatan? Kelihatan? Body show. Sini, sini, sini. Astagfirullahaladzim. Astagfirullahaladzim. So, kini. Busuknya, bau busuknya itu nggak akan hilang. Itu mandi sekalipun.
As you can see, the face of the Pochong is rotten and decomposed. Tell us, what do you think about this video? Do you believe it or not? You decide. So this video is gonna be long, right? So that's the top performing most haunted. Let's now go to the top 5 performing supernatural stories. With number 1, most watched supernatural stories is Kum Kum Haunted HDB Singapore. Let's listen to the story.
Delicious food and drinks. These were the common items that we had every time Raya comes around. This time, however, something sinister happened. This story happened to me years ago during the festive season of Hari Raya. During Hari Raya, we went out visiting our friends' houses. It's a common thing to do during this period, which is to visit houses and have fun. So, this story started when I visited one of my friends' houses. It was in the west. We were having fun as usual, eating treats which were prepared for us on the table and talking among us. At first, my friend's uncle seemed friendly, so I felt like there was no reason to feel uncomfortable. After a while, I noticed that he has been staring at me and muttering phrases silently under his breath. I ignored it and tried not to pay much attention as I continued talking and eating. At around 7:30, we decided to leave the house in order to continue visitations. As soon as I stepped out of the house, I felt a tremendous amount of pressure on my shoulders, almost as if there was something sitting there. I wasn't feeling too well afterwards, so I decided to go home early while my friends decided to continue their Hari Raya visitations. Once I reached my house, I felt depressed, not wanting to eat and talk to my family members. During that time, all I could think about was the face of my uncle's friend, but I couldn't figure out why. While I was cooped up in my room, My mother noticed something was wrong, as I wasn't like my usual cheerful self. However, she just thought I was tired and decided to leave me alone so I could rest. I finally was able to sleep and I thought the weirdness would stop, but I was wrong. The next day, everything seemed normal until nighttime came, and that's when the feeling of dread came back. I told my mom about what happened the night before, and she offered to accompany me to sleep. But during midnight, I suddenly heard strange noises coming from the corridor. I tried to listen to identify what sound it was. It was chains being dragged on the floor. I was terrified and hoped it would stop, but I was so scared that I woke my mom up and asked her if she could hear the noises that I was hearing, but she said that she could not hear anything. The dragging noise abruptly ended and I couldn't sleep for the whole night. After what happened, I tried to forget it and fool my mind that it was just a coincidence. It almost worked, or so I thought. As night comes, I was sitting in my living room watching TV. It was approximately 10:30 and my front door was open. As I was watching TV, I was distracted by what had happened the previous nights before, so I do not have a feeling of fear at that time. I suddenly heard footsteps coming from the corridor of my house. I automatically assumed that it was one of my neighbors, so I did not pay much attention to the footsteps. After a few minutes, the sound of the footsteps stopped, but then I noticed in the corner of my eye, almost as if there was someone peeking at me from the corner of my door. I immediately had goosebumps, and I tried looking towards my door. However, there was nobody there. Suddenly, a totally black figure walked past my door, and I almost felt an instant wave of fear overcome me. It was almost as if the entity wanted to show itself to me. I slammed my door and ran to my mom's room with tears in my eyes and struggling to describe what happened. Once I could partially compose myself, I told my mom what exactly happened, and she decided that it was time to see a Muslim priest, also known as an imam. My mom wanted to see the imam on the night itself, so she called him and asked if he was able to help out at this time, which was already 11 o'clock. Thankfully, he said yes, and he told us to visit him right away. Once we reached the destination, I felt a surge of anger and disgust at the thought of going into the imam's house. I struggled and cursed at everyone who tried to restrain me. My brothers forcefully pushed me inside the imam's house. Once I was there, I was almost on autopilot, as I couldn't remember much of what happened. My mom told me that I was looking at the imam's face, seething with anger. The imam asked me questions like what happened and is there something inside of my body? I did not answer and continued to stare at him. He then asked my family members to leave the room as he is going to attempt to communicate with whatever is inside my body. After almost an hour, the imam asked my mom if I had visited any place that could be seen as dirty or haunted. My mom said no. Then the imam asked, where did I go before all this happened? My mom then said that I went visiting my friend's house during Hari Raya. The imam then said he was communicating with me and he found out there was a jinn that was sent to me. This jinn is said that it was from a master that practices traditional Malay dance, also known as kuda kepang. The way that kuda kepang works is that a spirit of a jinn possesses the dancers, which put them in a trance. Usually the people who teaches kuda kepang usually practices black magic and keeps a jinn. It then took a few more meetings with the imam to finally get rid of whatever that has been bothering me. He told me not to share any photos, especially with that particular friends whose uncle practices kuda kepang. It was an experience I will never forget.
Oh, by the way, that video just now is like 8,000 views like that. Thanks to you guys, by the way. It's all about you guys. So for the second most watched supernatural stories is the Night Shift Ghost Next Door from UXM, one of the amazing YouTuber that create ghost content, a UXM video. Have a look with 1,000 plus views, if I'm wrong. Have a look. Today's story is from UXM and it features Maman, who would like to share his story working the night shift and coming home late. The story starts here. So, this story happened to me 5 years ago. I usually work the night shift at my company, and this is an experience I cannot forget. So, one night, I was walking home normally under my block towards my house. I took the lift and I reached my unit and went in and grabbed.
Assalamualaikum.
I placed my shoes and called for my mother as usual. I put my items in my room and make my way to sit in the living room. At the side of my eye, I can see my mother praying as usual. Soon after, my mother went out of the room as she finished praying, and she told me to eat as she cooked for me something. So I ate with her and start chit-chatting. So usually the routine is me coming home late and placing my stuff in my room. My mother will also be there as she cook food for me. But the scary part starts here. This happened one night. I was working, doing the task my boss sent me, and I asked my friend if he had finished the presentation my boss asked us to do. Suddenly, a text message came in my phone from my mother. Halfway reading through the text, my friend talked to me, so I can't manage to read the text fully. So when the time for me to leave have arrived, I packed my items and went home. Everything was normal so far. So I reached home and entered my house as per usual, placing my things and walking towards the living room. While walking, I saw my mother praying, but not thinking much, I waited on the couch. Suddenly, I fell asleep.
Mat, bangun Mat.
I woke up from a nightmare, sweating and thinking, where is my mother, as she always will call me to eat. So I peeked into her room and saw her swaying her body left and right while muttering some weird words. Suddenly, my friend called me, so I went into my room. While in my room, I read the text my mother sent me just now at work. She said that she will be at my grandma's place. So, who did I see in the room just now? Suddenly, I can hear the unknown thing call my name. At that moment, I was very scared
so I planned to run out of the house. So I slowly got off my bed and crept past the door, peeking in the living room. I quickly ran to my house door and unlocked it, but when I turned back, I saw something terrifying.
Mamat. Pergi mana tu Mamat?
So, I fainted, and when I was awoken, my mother was already beside me. I think she knew something was wrong when I sounded so scared. And this is an encounter I will never forget.
So, how do you guys enjoy that video from UXM and Supernatural Stories we dub it, you know? So, for the third most watched Supernatural Stories is the Sembawang Food Delivery Rider Ghost Story. Enjoy!
It was a quiet night. Ring goes my phone. I receive an order. I am a delivery man working for Grab. I usually work till late night, roughly 1:45 a.m. But for today, I will be working overnight because of the merchant, which is open 24 hours. All this happened at around 3 a.m. When I unlocked my phone to see the order notification and details, I saw a delivery for a location which is nearby. The distance is roughly around 1.6 kilometers away, so I'm happy to send it. At first, I thought it is going to be an easy delivery, a fast one. The location I'm sending is a HDB block which has 2 elevator lobbies. So, knowing from experience that it has 2 elevator lobbies, I plan to take the second lobby, which is further back and nearer to the customer unit. So, I smoked a cigarette and waited for my order. I waited for 15 minutes until the order is ready. Now, the time is 3:13 a.m. I collected the food and placed it in my bag. The journey there was smooth and quiet as there is no one on the road as it is late at night. I've reached the block at 3:18 a.m. and I found myself at the first lift lobby, but as planned earlier, I wanted to go up through the second lift lobby. The block is very dark, but I don't really mind and try not to think much when I suddenly remembered stories about people seeing ghosts at the river behind this HDB block. The river behind the HDB block is deemed by the locals to be haunted. Not thinking much, I went to right behind the block, trying to find the lift, when suddenly I feel a cool breeze hit me. Not thinking much, I thought it was just the weather or the wind, when suddenly I smell a floral fragrance similar to the frangipani flower. So, I played my music on my speaker louder and tried not to think much. I went to the first lift lobby and parked my bicycle and then went up the lift fast. While walking to the unit, I felt a strange atmosphere surrounding me, but I just continued to the unit. After I passed the food, I walked back to the lift lobby to take the elevator to go back down to where I parked my bicycle. While walking, I heard some footsteps and I ran towards the lift. When I reached the ground floor, I walked towards my bike. when I noticed the same floral fragrance from earlier. A bit scared, I connected my phone to my speaker to play some music when I write. So, I quickly got home and rode past the letterbox area. I noticed a strong odor and rode faster. Before leaving the area, I looked back to see a Pontianak with long hair, white dress, looking straight at me. At first, I can't believe what I'm seeing. So, I turned my head back again to check, is it really a Pontianak? When I turned my back, the Pontianak is still standing there, facing me. Knowing that's a ghost, I panicked and pressed my horn all the way till I reached the gantry of the car park. When at the gantry, I no longer see the Pontianak there, and I quickly go off. When I reached the merchant area, I told my friends about this story, and they were in shock. But a couple of them also have similar experience to me, seeing or sensing a Pontianak there. What do you guys think about this story? I won't tell the block number, but the location is somewhere in Sembawang.
Honestly, that story is about me because I've ride as a food delivery rider once a while before, and that's really scary, you know. That's really scary, you know. That is like indeed super scary. So, for the fourth most watched supernatural stories is Pontianak at Pasir Ris Sungai Api-Api. Let's have a listen.
I like to fish. That is my hobby. So my friends and I would go to different places all over Singapore to go fishing. So this is my story. This happened to me a few years ago. It was roughly around 2 a.m. My friends and I have already met each other at Pasir Ris Central. We were with our fishing rods and boxes to prepare to fish later. The plan was to fish at Sungai Api-Api. So, we bought some drinks first at the 7-Eleven, then hopped on our motos to ride towards the river. The ride was not long as it only took around 3 minutes. We found a place to park near the river and unload our items. By the time, it was already 2:30 a.m. While walking towards the river, I just noticed how dark the place is and how quiet the night is over there. For some reason, some of the lampposts was not working that night, so it was hard to see. But luckily, we all came prepared. We brought our torchlights. We set up our place to chill with our camping chairs, snacks and drinks. Once all is set up, we start fishing. While fishing, everything was great. I caught around 2 fish, my friend caught some also. We placed the fish in the styrofoam box we bought. After catching a few more, we took a break. We all sat on the chairs and had a chit-chat. After a while, one of my friends suddenly brought up the topic of ghosts in this area. He said that there is a lot of stories of people fishing at night and they encounter a ghost. The ghost, he said, was the infamous Pontianak. We quickly asked him to stop talking nonsense, and I said let's continue fishing. So, we all threw our lines back in the water and waited for the fishes. After a few good catches, we all continued talking and fishing when we suddenly heard an owl sound. The sound was a bit weird. It sounded a bit like an owl and like a girl. I asked my friend if you guys heard the sounds. They said yes, and they explained that they heard the same sound. Feeling a bit weird, one of my friends suddenly said Guys, maybe it's the Pontianak, huh? He said jokingly. We all told him to keep quiet and don't say anything stupid, fearing that the ghost might come. So, we all ignored it and continued fishing. While fishing, I caught a fish, so I reeled it up to take it off the fishing line. While bringing the fish to the box, I suddenly see the box half open. I wonder who opened the box, so I put the fish in and counted them, when suddenly I realized 2 of the fish were missing, as there was supposed to be 6. Weird out, I asked my friend if he took the fish out. He said no and asked me why. I told him exactly what happened, and he said none of them took my fish. While talking about this weird encounter, we all heard the same owl, but this time, it sounded more like a girl crying. We all took our torchlight and pointed it on the trees to see if there's anything there. Suddenly, we heard the sound of the boxes move. We panicked and moved back together while pointing our light on the box. When we all got enough courage, we walked towards the box and see that there's 1 more fish missing and there was blood in the water. Shocked, we all started to pack our items, saying there's something over here disturbing us, when suddenly we heard a laughing sound coming from a distance. Scared, we all took our torchlights and pointed everywhere, when suddenly one of my friends pointed it at the tree. We all were shocked to see a Pontianak on top of the tree with her dress smeared in blood. She suddenly flew towards another tree and we all panicked and ran. We took our rods, camping chairs and ran as fast as we could. While running, we can hear the Pontianak laughing. We quickly head towards the car park and talk to each other, asking each other if what they saw was in sync with me. They said yes, they saw the Pontianak on the tree and the thing was laughing at us. While talking, we think maybe the Pontianak was the one who ate my fish. After a while, we realized the boxes that we brought for keeping our fish were still at the river. I asked my friend if we could go get it. They all said no, because everyone was too scared. Till today, I would not fish at that river at night because of the terrifying experience.
So that's a very scary ghost story. Actually, the Pasir Ris ghost story about the api-api, it's a very famous story. You guys should search it up online. There's a lot of stories about fish getting eaten by ghosts. So, let's go to the next one. At number 5. This is a scary one. This is really a scary one. The story is indeed scary. So, which is Pontianak ghost at Old Changi Hospital. Let's have a listen.
Ruined walls, an abandoned hospital. Does this sound familiar? The place that I am talking about is the Old Changi Hospital, and I have a ghostly encounter there. It was Friday, the night before. Me and my friend were texting each other, talking about what to do tomorrow. We were talking about how bored we are, when suddenly my friend came up with an idea about going to the Old Changi Hospital to thrill seek. After much planning, we were to meet each other in the late evening to have dinner before the adventure to the Old Changi Hospital. So, we agreed on the plan and invited another friend, so there were 3 of us, including me. The next day, we met at 7 p.m. in the evening at Changi Village. I was pretty excited the previous night when planning, so I brought my torchlights to meet them. As planned, we went to a nearby coffee shop to have our dinner, and by the time we finished our dinner, it was already 9:30 p.m. The dinner took longer because we had fun talking, eating and enjoying ourselves. But What is going to happen at the Changi hospital is something that is going to scare us for life. We reached the entrance of the hospital at around 10 p.m. Looking at the facade of the building already gave me chills down my spine. So, before we entered, we looked at each other for a final confirmation that we are going into this abandoned hospital. When we were in there, I gave each one of my friends torchlight for them to see because it was so dark. We started walking around the hospital and remember from an article that we read online that there was a mortuary in the hospital which has a lot of stories. So, we continued walking towards the mortuary. While walking, we heard sounds of girl crying. The funny thing is we three are the only ones in the hospital, so we knew what we're hearing is something paranormal, and it was scary. I looked at my friend to see if he heard a girl crying in the background, and he told me that he heard the same exact thing as me. Scared, we tried to find the source of the sound, and the source of the sound led us to one of the wards in the hospital. When we were in there, we saw nothing. It was just empty. Puzzled, one of my friends said that we should just continue our journey towards the mortuary. So, we got out and continued our journey. Then, we finally found the mortuary area. Before we entered the mortuary, one of my friends looked very scared. His face turned pale and he was shivering. Suddenly, he reached out his finger and pointed towards the doorway. He keeps saying there's a lady in white behind the doorways. Then we turned to look at the doorway and there was nothing there. But looking at my friend in that state made us feel scared. Suddenly, he started running down the hallway, passing by all the wards, shouting Pontianak. We chased after him, and in the background while chasing him, we heard a feminine laughter which resembles a Pontianak. When we finally caught up with him, we asked him to chill, and at that point, his face was pale and he looked like he was going to faint. We told him, let's go back in again. He resisted and said that the thing he saw looked very angry and flew towards him, which resulted in him running away. After the commotion, we finally got him to follow us into one of the hospital wards where we explored and tried to look for things that seemed unusual. While exploring, I noticed one of my friends staring at me. I thought, what was his problem? But upon closer look, I realized that he was not staring at me, but he was staring at something behind me. I asked him, what happened? He did not reply, but gave me a frozen blank look. At that point, I realized that he saw something scary behind me. So to get him out of the trance, I pushed him and he suddenly shouted while pointing at the doorway behind me. I knew that we needed to get out of that area fast because we are not welcome. Suddenly, a sweet floral fragrance similar that of the frangipani flower entered the room. The smell was so strong and all of us got scared. Suddenly, the floral fragrance turned into a rotten smell, and remembering from what I read online is when the floral smell turns into a rotten smell, it means the Pontianak is near. We all looked around, back to back, scared, pointing our torchlights to every part of the room to see if there was anything unusual, when suddenly, one of my friends pointed his torchlight towards the window and screams. When we all looked at the window, what we all saw was a Pontianak floating there and looking at us. We all quickly ran out of the ward, down the corridor and towards the entrance. While running, we all heard the same feminine laughter from before. Not turning back, we all ran all the way until we were out of the compound. When we were outside, we all slowed down and asked each other what we saw. We explained to each other that we saw the Pontianak at the window. Scared and still feeling creeped out, we all took a taxi back towards the coffee shop and tried to keep ourselves calm over there by drinking some tea. Till today, this memory of the three of us exploring Old Changi Hospital will be a memory I could not forget.
So, that is one of the most scary stories that I've received of email where the person gets chased by the ghost itself. It's really terrifying. I hope I do not experience that myself. So, once again, thank you for watching our channel and enjoying our content from the start of the year to the end of the year, which is now the 31st, and tomorrow will be the 22. Am I right? It will be 2022. Hope you guys enjoy all our videos. You can watch back at the old videos. Next ghost story or Fast Forward Original will come out next Thursday, and it will premiere our original contents. And thanks for watching once again. Please press the subscribe button and the bell notification button down below, and we hope to see you guys next year enjoying our supernatural stories, most haunted, the haunted files, supernatural history, and so much more. And maybe we are gonna create an original show. So, I mean a new original show. All our shows are original. What are you talking about? So, thanks for watching. False Post. Happy New Year. See you guys in 2022. Bye bye.